All right, you guys, let's go to headline number 3. If Zara's new store isn't enough for you to get into physical retail, then this next headline is for you, because Zuck has said that Meta is ready to test virtual goods in the metaverse. According to CNBC, Mark Zuckerberg said that Meta is testing new tools that allow creators to sell virtual assets and create experiences within the worlds they build on Horizon Worlds. Zuckerberg said, quote, "The ability to sell virtual items and access to things inside the world is a new part of the e-commerce equation overall," end quote. Over the course of the next few months, companies and individuals have been snapping up everything from arts to real estate and virtual worlds on platforms like Decentraland and The Sandbox. But it looks now as though Zuckerberg wants to let users do the same thing on Horizon Worlds, which, for those listening, that was formerly Facebook Horizon, which is the free VR online video game that allows people to build and explore virtual worlds. Meta published the Horizon game on its Oculus VR headsets in the US and Canada on December 9th, but this is still yet to be rolled out worldwide. So Chad, virtual products, the metaverse, Meta's all in. I just have to know, what are you guys doing? I'm sure your clients are reading these things and coming to you thinking, how the hell do I approach this? What are you telling them?
First of all, when you first started OmniTalk, however many years ago, did you ever think you would read a headline like that? Like, this is, for anyone who's read, the book Ready Player One, or watch the Spielberg movie version. Like, for those who don't know, it's basically this like dystopian sci-fi novel about an immersive virtual reality game. Like, doesn't this feel eerily similar? Like, I feel like if this ultimately works, like Zuckerberg should get like a best adapted screenplay Oscar or something like that. But so listen, this will never be me as a participant.
Sure.
Never say never, but we also, to your point, we don't advise our clients based on sample size ends of one, right? So we have had clients and brands come to us asking about NFTs, the metaverse, how it all works, and whether they should get involved. So first, just kind of a statement around, the metaverse and where it's going. Like Meta's clearly playing the long game here. Mm-hmm. I actually caught your interview earlier this week with Meta's
Emma
VP
Rogers
of Commerce. Yeah, Emma. Yeah. She said the same thing, right? Metaverse commerce is super early, and that's for physical goods, right? But it has an opportunity to serve, as she explained, this new channel, right? One that's about discovery, inspiration, some form of exclusivity. So listen, if consumers are drawn in any form to creators and influencers on this platform today for physical goods, as they seem to be, and Emma supported, like, imagine the bounds, without the bounds of physical reality, where people can live in these alternate dimensions, be who they want, brand themselves how they want. Like, maybe it's escapism, maybe it feels more immersive, maybe there's some other psychological factor at play, I don't know.
Right.
But I watch what my son does with, his Fortnite Xbox game or NBA 2K characters, and you can imagine how this would actually take off. And for me, that's the story here, like, what becomes of the metaverse.
Right.
And so, I don't think we're at the point yet that if you're a brand and not thinking about the metaverse, that you're late. Like, we're not there yet. Mm-hmm. But if you are thinking about the metaverse, like, I'd use it as experimentation ground, right? So invest in creators, build these immersive experiences, and use this as a mechanism to supplement messages that you're sending elsewhere. And so, one of the things I'd say is, like, when I, as a former CMO, I enjoyed working on big brands that had loyalists that were tapping into consumers' desire to share. Right. And what they were doing by sharing brands is it was really acting as a reflection on themselves, and it said something about themselves, right? So they're your best influencers. And if someone wants to wear a t-shirt with a Twinkie on it because they love the brand, I wanted to provide them the mechanism to be advocates of the brand.
Right.
And so I'd think about NFTs and the metaverse in these early stages in that way.
Yeah, I love that. I think I would echo almost everything that you said, Chad. That was my points exactly for this, where if you haven't, listeners, checked out our interview with Meta's VP of Commerce for Business, Emma Rogers. We just released that yesterday. check out that interview because she does emphasize exactly what Chad said. Somebody from Meta explaining the metaverse, and that is, continue to develop your partnerships, get with creators. They're the ones that people are going to be following into these environments. And I think the other point that she said that I just tag on to that is that, you need to maintain your brand's authenticity in your approach. Just because Nike's doing it does not mean that your approach should be the similar one. And I think, Chad, you hit on that really well, talking about, exploring NFTs. How are you as a brand providing opportunities for brand advocates to, support you in this space? The same way that, it was when we started mobile too. I mean, I think she used that example as well. It's like the metaverse is what mobile was maybe, 10, 15 years ago now. Heyman, anything you'd add in closing here?
Oh God. So there is a part of me that is just dying to tell all our clients, this is the craziest and the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's very hard to explain the inherent value of something to a retailer that doesn't really exist, because we've all grown up in an environment where retailers are selling to us as consumers products that we can touch and feel and experience. And what's changed dramatically over the last 2 decades is how we buy them, but the end product is still something tangible and that you use. So now think about a revenue stream of business where you are creating something that you are not experiencing as a tangible, but in the virtual, is to me unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with Chad. I also have a son, and I see how he interacts with the virtual world and the satisfaction it gives him.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, to me, the inflection point, right? And that inflection point, when that happens, and when the group of people who are between the ages of 5 to 15 today, when they become the primary consuming population, I think this thing is really going to take off. So the fact that companies are making investments now to make that more available is, in reality, the virtual world is not really that great right now. But I think what Meta is doing is encouraging development to pay dividend 10 years from now when it's robust enough. Is it possible that at some points everyone turns around and says, this was the craziest and the dumbest thing we spent time doing? Very possible. But
it was fun while it lasted.
I remember thinking the same thing when Bitcoin was being talked about 5 years ago. So
right.